नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। उकारो अन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षपर्यचत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवांसस्तनूभिः विषेम देवहितं यतायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृत्तश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We are dealing the kārikās of Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Almost the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad is finished. Now, very relevant way of studying the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad along with the kārikās. Whatever it is told in the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad is being elaborately discussed by one of our Acharya called Gaudapada Acharya. His kārikās are traditionally taught along with the kārikās by our traditional teachers. So we are also studying the Māṇḍūkya kārikā of Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. And we are in the 22nd verse of Māṇḍūkya kārikā of the first section. Agama Prakarana. This is the name of the first section, which are based on the Upanishadic text or sentences. The whole kārikās are being written or explained to the Upanishad by taking the other verses or sentences from the other Upanishads. So, last class we stopped in the 21st verse. I will read the 21st verse and I will give you a connection to the 22nd for our memory. Makara bhave prajnasya manasamanyamutkadam matra sampratipattau tu layasamanyameva-cha. Makara bhave prajnasya manasamanyamutkadam matra sampratipattau tu layasamanyamutkadam. So, we are discussing the identity of the quarters of a living being, and we are dealing with the letters of the Omkara. The identity between the letters and the quarters are being explained in the Upanishad. So too, it's also explained in the kārikā. And we are seeing the last letter of the Omkara and the last before one, The quarter is third quarter of the of a life form. The third quarter of a life. Why I say life form, which is not told in the Upanishad, it is connected with our life. So Prajnaha, the Devata, the deity which is residing in the deep sleep state. We are familiar with the deep sleep state. So the deep sleep state is the third state, and the deity is Prajna. It is identical with the letter Makara for two reasons which we already discussed. One is it measures Manam. It is told here, Mana Samanya Mutkadam. Manam. Manam means the waking state and the dream state will be inserted inside the deep sleep state, will be resolved in the deep sleep state. Like the grains are being inserted in a measuring bowl. Similarly, the deep sleep state will insert both state inside in the unmanifested condition. This is one. And they all together, it will be completely in an unmanifested form which cannot be seen at all. And the resolution and the measure both are being the identities between the prajna and also the letter makara. This is being told here, makara bhave prajnasya. The prajna is identical with two clear reasons. That common features are, one is measure. Measure means inserted. When we chant Omkara also, Akaram and Ukaram will be inserted in Makaram. Om. Inside the Makara, both are inserted or resolved. And measuring. When it is told like in the form of measuring means, they are being resolved inside the Makara, and also the waking state and the dream state also resolved in the unmanifested form inside the deep sleep state. That is why the deity Prajna and the Makara are identical, like the Vishwa and the Akara, and also the Ukara and the Taijasa. So all three deities are respectively identical with the Akara, Ukara and Makara. This was being discussed in the last class elaborately. Now we will go to the new words which is to be discussed in this class. Trishu dhameshu yat tulyam Samanyam veti nishchitaha sapujya sarvabhutanam vandyashchaiva mahamunihi. Once more I will read. Trishu dhameshu yat tulyam samanyam veti tattvataha samanyam veti nishchitaha sapujya sarvabhutanam Vandyashchaiva Mahamuni. Trishu, in the three states, Dhamasu, Dhama, abodes. Like, when you reach Himalayas, four places are there one should compulsory to see. One should not miss in the life. They are called Dhama, an abode of freedom, an abode of peace, an abode of happiness. So all these words will fit for Dham. So Dhamaha, like in Himalayas, four dhams are there. They are called Chaturdhamam or Chardham in Hindi. Badrinath, where a beautiful temple of Lord Vishnu is situated inside the Himalayas surrounded by mountains. Kedarnath, a temple of Shiva is situated in the Himalayas and surrounded by the snow peaks. Gangotri, Gangotri is the origin of Ganges. If I can say, Gangotri has a temple of Ganges, river Ganges, but the origin, the exact place will be far 25 kilometers from there. Shankara knows that ordinary people can't go by walking to the real exact place of origin, so that he little extended towards us the origin of the place called Gangotri. So if you want to see live of the Ganges coming out of the earth, you should walk to a place called Gomukh for 22 kilometers or 25 kilometers. There you will see the Ganges coming out of the earth. It's called the origination. But not everybody can walk, so that Gangotri is bit near to us. Without walking, you will reach the temple of Mother Ganges. This is also a dham. So Badri Dham, Kedar Nam, Gangotri Dham, and Yamunotri Dham. So another auspicious river originates from Himalayas. Name is Yamuna, which is which will reach Delhi. And you know that the whole culture will originate from the banks of rivers only. So the Delhi has developed by looking towards Yamuna only, believing the Yamuna river only. So Yamunotri has the origination of Yamuna. So these are all dhams, an abode of pleasure, an abode of happiness, an abode of bhakti, devotion, an abode of peace. That's why it's called dham. Here also the word dhama is used by the Acharya Trishu Dhameshu. In these three abodes, Yadu Tulyam, which is eternal. The Tulyam should be converted into eternal. Actually, Tulyam means equal. I prefer the word eternal. What is not changing in spite of all the changing occurring in all these three states, which stays without any kind of movement, any kind of modification, any kind of changes, that entity, which is the base of all these three states, as a cinema screen, will be stable, and without having any change, it will be in the white in color. But in that white in color, according to the movie and its colors, different mountains appear, different birds appear. Our heroine, along with the river, appears. Our hero will appear in the horse, train will appear, flights will appear. Every movement will be possible only in a surface which is unchanging without having any movement. Even to have a movement, you should have a place without having any movement. The road should be stable for the car to move. This logic you can apply identifying one's own nature. If your mind is moving, there is something without movement. That is why you can sense about the mind's movement. Agamanye manonyatra sampradam cha sthirikritam itham yo yatithi vritti sohamityavataraya. Drigdrishya vivekam. My mind has gone elsewhere. Right now it came back. I confirmed the status of the mind right now. It is with me. I can think about my mind. One who thinks both that the mind has gone elsewhere and it came back right now. The person who is without changing, knowing the movements of the mind. Now the mind is thinking about a donkey. Now the mind is thinking about a star. Now the mind is thinking about Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Now the mind is thinking about some food. All these movements are being coordinated and identified by an entity who is unchanging, who is eternal, who is equal in all these three states. This entity is being discussed here through the word yadu tulyam, that which is equal and eternal without any changes in all these three states. When they change according to the situations, according to the thoughts, samanyam, it is one and the same in all these three states. Whenever I say states means it is waking state, it is deep sleep state, it is also the middle dream state. All these three states can only occur because of the unchanging entity which is consciousness. That is my intrinsic nature. All other things are just superimposed apparent reality. I should not take it as real. My status of human being is unreal. My status of I am a woman is unreal. My status of I am a mother is unreal. My status of I am a government servant is unreal. All these things are superimposed on one single mistake that I am a human being. Once you think about this superimposed mistake as true, other mistakes will come in a series, in an order. Once I am human being, again I will think about my gender. I am a man, I am a woman. Another mistake I commit. Like that, entire life will be with a series of mistakes. And I never get any peace of mind, or I never get freedom. I never get eternal happiness. All these things I can draw is momentary happiness from this world. I just draw myself some momentary happiness through relationship, through food, through a package tour, through roaming around my garden or forest. Some momentary or situational happiness which are limited. One mistake that I commit myself, that I am a human being, that mistake will draw lot of mistakes, and it's very deep rooted. In one word, Shankara explains in the Brahma Sutra, Adhyasaha. Adhyasaha means an error. If I say error means, I can define the error. Something you think about the thing which is not real. Like a rope is mistaken to a snake is called an error. Similarly, the eternal consciousness is mistaken as a human being. This eternal consciousness is tulyam. Tulyam means equal everywhere. Everywhere means in these three states. This is my real nature. Not this human body, whether it is attractive or whether it is not attractive, whether it have defects, whether it doesn't have defects, not a problem because you are not that human body. But you have a role called human body. You have to play. When a hero get a role of a beggar or in any other role, he has to play with 100% sincerity. That only we need to do. Because the entire world is not going to identify that I am this eternal consciousness. So somebody who study the Shastra, the knowledge under the traditional teacher may identify about oneself that I am this intrinsic nature, that eternal consciousness. That Samanyam Veti Tattvataha. Samanyam. It's similar in all three states without having any change. Like, I will give three different colors for three different states. The waking state can give a blue color. The dream state will have a green color. And the deep sleep state have a black color. Now, in a white surface, if you put a red color, the white surface will seems to be a red color. Really speaking, it's an unreal red surface. For the time being, it seems to be red, but it is white. Now, the second way, the green color. If you put a torchlight in a green color in the white surface, it seems to be green, but it's an unreal green surface. Similarly, black color also. If you have a black paint or black slate, if you keep on the white surface, it seems to be black, but it is unreal. So that a mind which has collected all kinds of past impressions, all kinds of experiences, all kinds of vasanas, that will be our colors. And in the pure Atman, in the pure self, which is free from all kinds of impressions, all kinds of experiences, all kinds of my vasanas, the pressure to do certain things in my life. This eternal consciousness, which is my nature, is free from all these defects. But my mind, which is equipped with all kinds of these things, which is capable of taking one birth or one superimposed form on this. And thus, I take a birth and live according to these vasanas, live according to the impressions, experiences, etc., etc. So, the unlimited pure consciousness is free from all kinds of impressions and pressures. That is why it is samanyam. Whether you play in the waking state, the eternal Brahman is not playing at all. It is just all pervading consciousness, which won't go here and there, which won't go travel or running, or it will not be a sporty consciousness. It will stay without having any movement because everywhere it is there. Now, in the dream state, I travel in a horse which can fly from one country to another country. Even the dream state is a movement. That movement can only occur in the unchanging not moving, eternal pure consciousness. In order to see the dream, you should have a conscious mind. The conscious mind lent the consciousness from the eternal entity. So all the movement of the mind which is inert can only happen from this pure eternal consciousness. That is why it is called Samanyam. It is similar in all these three states, even though these three states are dissimilar when we look at from a perspective point. They are dissimilar. Dream will give a lot of experiences which are not practical in the waking state. Waking state experiences are not completely copied by the dream state. In the deep sleep state, both are not available because it's all unmanifested or it is being buried inside in the deep sleep state. And when the deep sleep state ends, it will come again. So, when we see from a standpoint, they are dissimilar, but the base of all these three states are similar, one and only entity, which is called Brahman. Veti nishchitaha. One who understand with jnani, that's why Veti. One who clearly understand by studying. Nishchitaha can be certainly, with certain, with surety, without having any doubt. This is what we call nishchita. Ascertaining the knowledge without any errors or doubts. One who knows, one who clearly understands, Veti, that among these three states, there is one thing which is common as a base for all these three states to occur. One who knows this, if a person comes to know, same in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and also in the Panchadashi, 15th chapter, Upanishad verse is being discussed in the 15th chapter, Atmanam ched vijaniyat ahamasmi iti purushaha. Ayamasmi iti purushaha. Kimichan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvaret. A Brihadaranyaka Upanishad verse, 7th chapter, I think, is been discussed in the entire chapter of 15th chapter of Panchadashi, a treatise which is written by a Vidyaranya Muni in the Sringeri Parambara. Vidyaranya Muni, pranams to him. This Muni, this Rishi has written Panchadashi. In the Panchadashi, one single verse is been analyzed in one entire chapter. In that verse, if a person comes to know, if, suppose, these words will convey there are possibilities to know also, not to know also. That is why we use suppose. Suppose if it rains, we can use umbrella. There is a possibility for raining. There is a possibility not for raining. Both can happen. That is there only we use if or suppose. Here also we say when a person comes to know completely about the Atman, the intrinsic nature of all these three states and oneself. Veti nishchitaha. When there is no certainty about the thing what you know, then there will be always some fluctuation even in our life and also even in our decisions, even also in our daily daily activities. There will be always some uncertainties. I prefer take the decision in a proper way, consulting with a wise or a person who is mature in understanding you. Any decision. Once you take the decision, you have to execute it. You don't hesitate because of somebody's opinion. There will be always two different opinions in good and in bad. Any opinion is not your life. It's only a mere opinion. An opinion comes from a person who eats different things, different food, and according to his different experiences. So opinion is not our life. So once you decided to do a thing, opinion should not be an obstacle. Before deciding to do something, you can think 1,000 times, you can consult with the wise and people who will not take advantage, and you take a decision and you work on that. You, whether you may be wrong, but you go along with your decision. That is something help will help for the growth of free will. You know, I will do. If I get some issues, I will rectify afterwards. But I am going to do that. This should be no. Suppose a person comes and asks me, I want to start an agricultural farm. We know that nowadays it's not very easy to have an agricultural business or farm. You should have a lot of experiences because it depends upon nature. Nature is unpredictable, correct? Nowadays, not according to the previous days in the life, because of this global warming, because the pollution, because of the people doing illegal things towards the nature, there are a lot of changes in the climate. Now the climate and the temperature is unpredictable. Suppose a person wants to do an agricultural farming, taking some loan from the bank. As a person, I should not discourage him. I tell something very good because you are connected always with the nature. You are going to give something good for the society and the world. You please do. You are not hurting anybody. You are always in tune with something which is connected with the nature. You do. And at the same time, I have to inform him there will be always some unpredictable calamities from the nature. One has to be aware of that. And this person is completely interested to have some agricultural farming. So he should go on that. He should not stuck with my agricultural calamities. Your prayers, your good deeds, all the things will be supportive for your agricultural farming. This is what I will make them to do. Similarly, you can ask with different people according to your opinion with what you are going to do in future. But once you take the decision, you have to do. This will help you to grow off the free will. Whether you may be wrong, whether you may commit some mistakes, that can be rectified in future, but you have done it. This is how you will join to 5,000-meter race, running race. People will say your body is not capable of running 5,000 kilometers. But I have a fantasy to run 5,000 kilometers. So I join for the race and I will practice and everything. People will be discouraging. At the age of this, you don't need not to go to 5,000 kilometers or 5,000 meters, 5,000 meters running race. But it is my will, it is my desire. This is how the thing should be. My desire and my deeds are it, my prarabdha to this body. You need not to change according to others' opinion. You can collect opinion from the entire world, but once you take the decision, you go through that. I prefer that. Whether it is some mistakes, whether you commit some mistakes, no problem. We can correct in the future. Fine. So here, a person who have studied under the Acharya, and he came to know in course of time among these three states, among these three dhammas, which are changing, which are only mere states, one state after another state, things are coming, but there is something unchanging. One who comes to know, veti nishchidaha, without any error, without any doubt, then what he will become among the people and the society and the world. Panashruti in the second sentence, Saha Pujaha. Puja means worship, devotion, respect in the ultimate way. 100% respect from the society, because respect is always connected with the right things in your deeds. The more right things you choose to do in your life, more respect you will get. The respect is always directly looking towards the right things to do in the life. More you are doing right things in your life, respect will come without having any effort. So respect and the right things go together. They are in proportion. You may be not doing right things towards the society, but because you don't have chance. But there are some times to do right things toward the society. Keep it aside. But in your daily life, the mundane things are done in a proper way. Then that itself will attract certain respect from the people who are around you. Remember, the entire world is not going to identify you. Your personality or your deeds or your way of living, not the entire world is going to identify. But the people around you who are connected you will identify. Remember, even a biggest Mahatma, when he leave his body, the one of the biggest Mahatma, imagine, when he leave his body, people will come, cry, do pranams after his cremation of his samadhi. They just forget even what he has done in this entire world. Even for the biggest Mahatma, this will be the lifestyle for an ordinary person. What to talk about we like people? So no need to worry. The entire world is going to give respect for you, and which is not needed also. The respect will come without any effort if a person is always connected with the right things. For example, he have compassion towards the world and creatures. He has something to do for the creator in the form of puja or some other things. His way of lifestyle is not hurting others. His words are not hurting others. All these things are proper way of it. In the ultimate reality, or in the tip of the ultimate reality, after knowing the entire picture completely about oneself, the person will be calm and quiet, nothing to say with anybody. He do his own things properly and the rest. He may be not involved, he will not involve in all the deeds. He will be completely relaxed with the things. That itself will command respect of others, because he is not competitive. He is not interested in the worldly things. He is not interested what others like to do is just relaxing. That itself will command some respect because you are not involved in the society deeds where the competition is too high, where the people are self centered. You are away from all these things. That itself will command respect. So here it is told, Saha Pujyaha. He is being respected. By whom? Sarva Bhutana, by all living beings. How a crocodile is going to identify that I am a person who knows the self, Atmajnaha, Atmajnani or Brahmajnani. A crocodile will not identify you as an Atmajnani because the mindset of the crocodile is not in the way it can sense you. There are some facts and evidence that the creatures use to identify a wise. Partially, it is been proven. They don't hurt, they don't disturb, they don't they don't come towards them because they identify the person. This person is living in tune with the world and creation. Some verbs from our lifestyle they will get to their mind. Even papaya seeds are just like magnets. Some dietitian was discussing in the social media. To remove the parasites, you have to swallow the entire papaya seeds, 1 spoon. He says, even the inert papaya seeds are just like working as a magnet. What to talk about a life? A live body have a mind which has some magnetic waves. That will be sensed by the creatures. So, we may be identified by the creatures or human beings. We may not be identified by the creatures or human beings. That's not the problem. If you want to get rid of from the death and birth cycle, one should come to study the real nature of a human being and the real nature of the entire creation through Upanishad from a traditional teacher. That will result in to put an end for the death and birth cycle. Jivan Muktaha. While living, he is free from the body notions. He is free from all kinds of pressures of the creation. He is not interested on names and forms. Whether it is a TV, whether it is something attractive, he is completely free. That person will be respected and will be treated with a lot of devotion by the other living beings. Vandyaha. Vandyaha will go synonymous to the puja. Vandyaha means will be loved or will be treated as an elder for all other living beings. Vandyaha cha eva mahamunihi. And also he will become or he will get the status of mahamunihi. What is called munihi? Muni means a person who always think that I am Brahman. I am Brahman. I am the eternal self. We are all always connected with the body notion. That person who can think continuously, I am Brahman, whether it is by closing the eyes or whether it is opening the eyes, the person react the person responds, the person will act from this knowledge. I am Brahman. This is called Nididhyasana. You respond towards the world. You act in personally or individually or collectively. Any action have the base that I am the all-pervading Brahman. If a person is free from all kinds of body notions, body identification, if a person is free from body identification, if a person is free from all kinds of body needs, even at the stage of laxity, something is lacking, still he is not compelling somebody to bring. He is not begging. He knows that I am the Brahman, I am the self, which is formless, which is eternal, which is the base of this body. This body may be need certain things for its survival, but from the standpoint of reality, I am the base of this body, which is not at all depending on anything. So that he will not compel of anything. He is not a competitor, is not interested to go inside the world and roam around. He is the person who came to know I am the Brahman. So listening is the first step for the understanding and responding towards the world I am Brahman. Because deep-rooted body notion is not possible to uproot in one single day unless you are prepared with a lot of sadhanas. Sadhana means the preparatory steps. The preparatory steps are there more than what we need. Then it's very easy. Within a short time, a person will stay back in this vision. Suppose the preparatory steps, the sadhanas are lacking. We need certain time. It may cost 12 years. It may cost 24 years. But entire way is enjoyable. If you are in the spiritual path, the entire way is enjoyable. In spite of all the body limitations, in spite of all the issues which are facing in my daily life and experiences, the entire spiritual journey will shower lot of happiness in your path every day. There will be some strength to move one step forward every day. So, Shravanam, listening to the traditional teacher's word for a length of time, it may take to understand maybe years, maybe days, maybe decades. But in an auspicious path, there will be no tired, there will be no tiredness, there will be no boring. You listen daily about yourself from the traditional teacher. Just looking at the mirror about me. When I look at the mirror, I never get bored. I don't get frustrated. I feel I am a hero when I look at the mirror and I pose myself. So, similarly, when the traditional teacher talks about the real nature of the listener, which I am the listener. I don't feel any uncomfort. I don't feel any kind of tiredness for listening for hours and hours. Why? It's talking about me. Not only it is talking about me, there are something I was expecting in my life. Let it be in my life like that. I want always eternal happiness. Nobody is interested in limited happiness. If I get this eternal happiness, I will be always happy in all my life. Everybody is expecting this type of situation. This is what I meant. Certain things are expected by me in my life. I don't want to die. If you ask anybody, do you want to die? Nobody will say, I want to die. Yes, please. No. I want to be in this world eternally. And the traditional teacher and the scripture says that you are eternal. So certain things which I am expecting in my life is being rewarded and told as the fact of my real nature. It's not that somebody consoling you. It's not that somebody is embellishing you. It's not that somebody is exaggerating your features, which is not at all there. Scriptures don't want to exaggerate. Scriptures don't want to embellish. Scriptures are not guessing about your real nature. Scriptures are talking about the reality of your nature. You are free from death and birth. So we need to listen for a length of time. That is why Shravanam, listening from a traditional teacher, is the first step towards the freedom. Shravanam, a big sadhana, one of the preparatory steps, biggest preparatory steps. Any knowledge is helpful in this world about something. Similarly, the knowledge about oneself is going to help in the entire life. That's why Shravanam becomes more important. Without Shravanam, there cannot be complete eradication of the mistakes and the superimposition which I had already done. So real knowledge can only dispel the mistakes which I have committed in my life. So knowledge is not something which I have to put a lot of effort. It is just like you put the light and the darkness will go. Similarly, when you listen about the real nature about oneself, all other notions will go without any effort. Only thing we have to do that listening about one's own real nature should be the part of the life. Then a person will slowly take away all the unwanted notions which are occupied in the entire mind for years, for births. Then slowly I will make them to go from my mind. This is just like installing a new software and deleting the old software. The device is same, but the software is new, and the software which is to be deleted is also having some virus from the previous birth, having some virus from the younger age, the experiences which are there from the younger age. You may be afraid of father. You may be afraid of strangers. You have some bad experiences from the teacher. You may have some bad experience from the train or the bus or from your boyfriend or girlfriend. That will become a virus which is inside the mind. That viruses should be removed. Core issues. If psychology is going to address, means these are all core issues. These core issues are the virus which are there, which will become a block, which will become an object. It will stay back. An obstacle will not allow the new software to come. The traditional teachers are interested to make everybody to be freed from all kinds of body limitations. They want to give everybody without expecting anything. That is why Shravanam is important in one's life. You install a new software inside the mind that will help you to delete all your old software and virus, which are core issues, psychological problems related to body. That is why Shravanam is important. Even to update the software in the phone, it takes some half an hour, 1 hour. What to talk about to install a new information inside the mind? It takes years. That's why Shravanam becomes more important in one's life. That's why Mahamuni means a person who always think about what is installed by the traditional teachers, that I am Brahman. We will talk about this more in the coming class. Om Susti Prajabhyat Paripalayandam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanibhya Shupamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Choparahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om